process.
Hard to talk about emotions.
Yeah, and I put interview in quotes because it's not to select one against the other. They all get the award. It's just a matter for them to talk. So this one child, I remember, he was as bald as the day is long. And he kind of starts to warm up to me. And he says, Joe, I want you to see something. He pulls out of his pocket his learner's permit. His hair was down to his pupik. Okay, and I knew where this was going, so I let him talk. I said, what happened? So he said, well, in deference to my mom who lost her hair, I shaved my hair off. And he also got his football team colleagues to do the same. They took all of that hair, they went down, they sent it to the American Cancer Society, who has
They make the wigs.
Exactly. They have a program called Look Good, Feel Good. And a wig makes a major difference for someone going through this because you don't feel sick when you look okay.
Right.
And people don't treat you sickly either. Right. I noticed that with Sue when she wore her babushka, a little wrap on her head to keep warm, and she would go out in public and people would go, oh.
Yes, yeah.
Anyway, so.
But it's an amazing thing that when you get these kids to involve themselves in that walk in a positive way, that it spreads this, I would say, a feeling of sympathy and empathy for the rest of the human race, because sometimes I just look at what's going on in the world and I just say to myself, nobody cares about anybody. And this is a nice, caring thing. How do you raise money?
Well, the one thing I didn't mention about the book
Yeah.
is that 100% of the proceeds of the book goes to the foundation.
Sure.
And since the book has been out, and we're going on about 5 years, the foundation's grown by over $19,000. So I am amazed that people are reading this. Because as I said at the beginning of this interview, I'm a former high school math teacher. The only two things I can guarantee about this book, number one, being a former high school math teacher, the pages are numbered consecutively. And the hardcover version makes a better doorstop.
Yes.
Yes.
I noticed that about my own book, right?
So absolutely, those are two reasons why people would want to buy this.
So what else do you do
I
besides book sales?
I run concerts, which is amazing. A group called Strawberry Fields. They are the best Beatle tribute band I have ever seen. Funny story, if I may.
I can vouch for that.
You've been to many of the concerts supporting the foundation, which I really appreciate. Here's a little background. Sue and I saw Strawberry Fields on Broadway back in the early 80s. They were the original cast members of Beatlemania. The first birthday I had after Sue was no longer with me, my friends saw how depressed I was. They took me to B.B. King's in the city on 42nd Street. Lo and behold, who does a Beatle brunch every Saturday? Strawberry Fields. That was the first of 17 times I've seen them. About the 5th time I saw them, I gave them books and foundation T-shirts and pins, and just to thank them for getting me out of the funk I was in. The 7th time they saw me in the audience, they called me backstage and they said, we are so enamored with what you do, we would love to do a benefit concert for you. 5 concerts down the road at different schools that I help. The school districts are great. They give me the auditorium and we fill up the auditorium just about every time. We've made close to $100,000 because of this wonderful, wonderful group.
Wow.
They're amazing. For the elderly people who watch this show, kind of our age, I would say. Maybe,
yeah.
Those of you might remember Murray the K.
Yes. Necessary.
Yeah, disc jockey, right. He was one of the good guys, I think, on
Submarine
WMCA.
races,
Yes,
right?
the whole bit. Well, I'm writing a second book, and a chapter. I'll tell you a little bit about the second book, but a chapter in the new book is called Joey the S, the Fifth Strawberry. They make me feel like it because
so the next book.
The next book.
What's happening?
I am this close to finishing. Every day, these two fingers get closer and closer. It's my arthritis, is what it is. No, but no. The name of the book you might enjoy. The first book, In Sickness and in Health, takes you to Sue's last breath. The next one takes you from that moment on, and it includes the hilarious dating scene at my advanced age, which I think we both would have about an hour to talk about, if not more.
Yes.
But the title of the book, since we were both high school math teachers, and it's from that moment on, Aftermath.
Aftermath.
Yes.
Of course.
Of course. What else could it be?
Well, I think one of the most enjoyable things that I listen to, because every once in a while you do a reading from the book, if you would like to do a reading from the book now, you can too, is the chapter of how you, when you were dating dating Sue, and you managed to get her alone in her parents' apartment, and...
Oh, my God. Well, maybe that should be better left unsaid, but no, it's fine. It's in the book. It's a chapter called Grandma Interrupt Us. And it was, I compare it to a NASA launch of a spaceship, because all systems would go, and everything was looking real good. And Sue's parents had taken a trip to California. Sue stayed back because we were starting to date, and it was just the time was right. So we figured that this was going to be the day. We were going to do it. So, you know, the rockets were fired. Everything was ready to go. And suddenly we get this knock on. We were in Sue's parents' house, apartment.
And in Sue's parents.
Correct. And in their bedroom. And in their bed. How much further can I go? But anyway, so we get a knock on the door. And it was Sue's grandma, who apparently had this mission to make sure that Sue was okay during the time that her parents were in California. So we never got to the point, and instead, now I couldn't be there. So what did I do? I got dressed as quickly as I could. I think I put two legs in the same pant leg, I'm not sure, hopping around, and I went down the fire escape. And clanging, and poor Sue, she was thinking, oh God, this guy is going to fall and break his neck. Anyway, so she lets Grandma in. Hi, Grandma, how are you? And, you know, meantime, I make it down the fire escape, and Grandma's taking a look around, like making sure everything is cool. She knew what was going on. She sits in the kitchen, and she starts talking, you know, taking a bagel, whatever was in the fridge, whatever. And then I figured there were no cell phones back in the day, so I figured it was probably safe now to ring the bell and say, oh, I'm visiting, I'm coming by. So I came by. But this was Sue's grandma to a T, because she was a very educated woman. She starts talking about that she went to the museum just the other day, and she was watching the Paul Gauguin exhibit, which had naked
ladies.
yes, naked ladies in it, and I'm busting here, thinking about what could have been. But so we had to scrub the mission.
And then she asked Sue why she had her blouse on backwards or inside out. Yes.
It was a hilarious day, but yeah, that's all the wonderful stuff that happened to Sue and me when we were dating, and even meeting. How romantic is this? We met at Brooklyn College in a math class. You know, and
it was meant to be.
It was. If she were here today, she would tell you it was the only D she ever got in a math class because she was slightly distracted. Me, I grew up under protective wings of Italian parents. I did not know she was pursuing me, honest to God, and I got an A.
Well, we just have a few seconds left, and I am inspired. You are an inspiring person, and you've done wonderful things for kids who are really in need, kids who have suffered from cancer in their family. So great to have you.
Thank you. This has been incredible how fast it went.
Yeah.
Love it. Thank you.
It always goes this fast.
Yeah.